Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Out of Our Depth podcast, where we are well and truly out of our depth. I am your host, Matt.
And I'm Liam.
And this podcast is all about cars, our life experiences, good stories, and a lot of things we don't understand. We hope you enjoy. Hello, everybody. People of the internet. You'll be glad to hear that we're not hungover this morning.
For a change.
I've got my wonderful cup of coffee.
I've got a massive bucket of it.
Oh, exactly. And we've got plenty of stuff to address this week. And that's all that matters. Starting, actually, so I was listening to last week's podcast, like the cool person I am.
Right.
And, of course, I came across a section where you recommended Alphabeat to me. And I'm telling you now, what is that song? That's not.
But it's very 2008, right?
I mean, yeah, it suits the time period. I'll give you that.
And did you forget about that song?
I don't think I ever listened to that song.
Really? I think it's quite, I don't know, popular at the time. I reckon if anybody else listened to it, they'll probably be like, oh my god, yeah, I remember this trash.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change of theme to start with the music, but I just loaded up my notes that I made for the week for this podcast, and that was the first thing I wrote down was Alphabeat, WTF. But then I also wrote down some song recommendations of my own.
Okay.
So, as you know, probably from a long time ago, I was a big fan of Foals.
Oh, yeah, good choice.
I hate their new stuff. Ugh, not a fan. But through all my studying, my time spent in the library, I've been listening to only really two songs by them on repeat. One's called London Thunder, and one is called Give It All. That's my recommendation for you listeners this week. Very slow, meaningful.
London Thunder, listen to, good choice.
Stuff. Yeah, you know what? That car on the motorway at night, full volume, full bass, that slaps.
Nice.
And to be fair, if I probably cry most times it comes on, so that's fine.
Straight and emotional.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, you got to hit it early. Anyway, right. Let's move past emotion.
Okay.
Let's talk about Formula One. Listeners, you have been warned. The Formula One section is starting now.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Oh my
Liam
God.
is testing. Take it away.
Okay, there's so much. And I've not been sad. So testing started on Friday, and I had work. I was hoping I'd just be working on some Excel sheets, can have it on in the background, but I was on calls all day, so I caught like 2 hours maybe.
That's more than I caught.
Watched a bit more yesterday. Haven't seen any today on Sunday when we're recording. But I've got a good idea of where things are going. It is quite sad, to be fair. Like nothing's
Sad in terms of
happening.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's almost a full day of TV coverage of these cars literally just being tested on track for our listeners who hate Formula One. And basically all they're doing is testing out different parts they've made, like gauging how the car's performing on different tyres, long runs, short runs, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, the TV coverage must be like pretty dead.
Yeah, like they do their best. So like they've got a couple of sets of commentary teams that they'll switch between. So it's not just the same guys for all 8 hours, which I think helps freshen it up.
Yeah.
Because imagine you just like the two of you stuck in a commentary box for 8 hours a day talking about because at most there's about 5 cars on track at once. So there's not a lot going on. So they'll talk, if there's something interesting on track, obviously they'll talk about that, but it's also about like the season gossip and other stuff like that, or you know, a little bit of roasting whoever else, you know, is in the commentary
So are
box.
they limited to 5 cars on track during testing, or could we theoretically have all 20 out?
So I think it would be limited to 10 because I think each team's only allowed to run 1 car at a time. So that's why you see like each team will split it into like Friday is just going to be trying to think of a team that only did one.
Like Valtteri will be out on Friday, lost most of his time. Lewis took Saturday.
Yeah, I think Mercedes has split it, but yeah, that brings us on to another topic. But yeah, so they'll split it into morning or afternoon, or like just a whole day for one driver.
Yeah, and of course, like teams like Williams, they've got Roy Nissany in there, and to quote you directly, Liam, he's hot trash. Tell me about that.
I remember his FP1 sessions from last year where he was like spinning out and going very slow. And he's not even their proper reserve driver. Jack Aitken is still Williams' reserve driver for this year.
And he's in Bahrain, right? Jack's in Bahrain at the moment.
I don't actually know, but potentially, because it'll be there for the race, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just in case
I mean, presumably age comes into it. Maybe Roy has a bit more experience, can pick up a bit more than someone who's younger.
No, he's just got a dad who's very, very rich.
Fuck. That must be sick.
I have a sneaking suspicion this is like a hangover from like when Claire was in charge and they were desperate for money. Because, you know...
There's a clause in a contract somewhere that demands
I don't think
car
Lasani's like any future star in F1. He would just paid a lot of money to get like some time in an F1 car. And back when Williams really needed that.
Yeah,
is my suspicion. Because there's only 3 days of testing and you've handed over a third of that to an inexperienced rookie driver. He hasn't got like a super license, so he can't race in F1 yet.
That's tragic. That really is. But I mean, I've of course only been seeing like the highlights that Formula One have been putting on YouTube because I don't actually have my Sky subscription at the moment.
It's the probably the best way to watch it.
Yeah, it's condensing a whole day into 5 minutes for me, and that's fantastic. Yeah. That's exactly what I need at like 1:30 in the morning when I'm trying to sleep. It's 5 minutes of condensed information. But they were saying that Williams are actually looking, pretty good. Like they may have made a bit of a step this year. I know testing is very precarious in what you can draw from it, but
yeah. So like, from what I can gather, they're looking at essentially how easy it looks to drive, whatever speed they're doing. So the fastest time I've seen so far is today with Perez, which is a 1:30.1, and that's 3 seconds slower than Pole was last year.
Yeah. Was this with or without the engine cover?
That's not good, is it? Yeah. So Saturday, Perez was overtaking somebody on the start-finish straight. And it looked from the angle it was being shown at that he like might have clipped back of, I think it was Giovinazzi, and like carbon fibre went everywhere. But he just like moved out to overtake him, and like the turbulent air hit him, and it just shredded his engine cover.
Yeah, and I've never seen that.
No, and that's probably the most sensitive of the car area of the car to be revealed. Like teams don't want to show that stuff.
Yeah, I bet Mercedes loved it. But then again, I guess, of course, Aston Martin probably loved it. I think everyone except for like Haas were like trying to get a little nosy.
Haas just don't care.
Yeah, they've given up. It's honestly, I know we talked about this last week, but it's just really like upsetting to keep seeing it, especially because you got Mick Schumacher, of course, son of Michael Schumacher, in the car.
Yeah.
I wasn't telling you that, Liam. I was telling the listeners that.
Sorry, I'm just agreeing with you. Like, I know this man. You had a stroke or something?
Schumacher. This is very familiar.
Young up-and-coming talent. Never heard of him.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Schumacher and Ferraris, what do you think of the lime green on the back of the Mission Winnow logo? Back of Ferrari.
Yeah, I think a million outlets have covered this already, but like last year, they weren't allowed to have that branding on the cars in any of the races. So...
Interesting.
The suspicion is they've just done a really standout colour to like get the exposure whilst they can have it on the car for like livery reveals.
Yeah, and I guess the law is it's me like so Mission Winnow is like maybe like a parent company or something related to Philip Morris, right? Who owns Marlboro. Yeah. But so you're not supposed to advertise like tobacco products, of course.
No.
But it's just Mission Winnow. Like surely there's some sort of legacy there that makes like a little bit of an exception.
I don't know what, because I think specifically it's like nicotine free or like e-cigarettes or something. So it's not quite tobacco, but it's owned by a tobacco company, and and of course people get a bit scared about that, right? Yeah, it's not great. It's like the whole Russian flag thing, but like same but different. Same but different. Yeah, I did. You're always going to kick up a fuss. You're always going to upset someone in any situation. So. Lime green has pissed off most of the internet, but given Mission Winnow some great exposure. Yeah, absolutely. Probably for like a menthol flavoured vape. Yeah. But from testing, do you have anything else to add from testing? I don't know if there's anything. So with the new regulations, which essentially chopped off a bit of the floor, I think the only real takeaway is that maybe like they're more sensitive to wind. Oh. Because it's been quite windy on track, and there's been a fair few people spinning, like in similar conditions to that they faced before at the track, and they haven't been spinning kind of thing. Yeah, but I guess part of the problem is I believe there was a sandstorm on Friday, correct? Yeah, that was kind of dramatic to watch. Yeah, well, at least it was some excitement, I think. Yeah. Yeah, but even to see Hamilton spin and then beach his car was quite satisfying. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, to say the least. Because so like there's this whole thing that if you want to beat Hamilton, according to Fernando Alonso, you need to come into the season strong, because that's the one weakness in Hamilton. He starts the season poorly. Okay. typically.
And we've seen Bottas do this. We've seen Bottas come strong before, though.
So Bottas, I think, is like he's fairly consistent performance. So he looks like he's doing better at the start of the year because Hamilton comes in weak. So
Liam, Siri just came on. Siri, not now. And then my Spotify's playing in my ear. Oh my lord!
Oh my word! There was something weird happening in the audio as well there. Sorry about that. If that's messed with anybody's speakers whilst they're listening to this.
Yeah. Well, they might have heard some Frank Ocean at some point. But we're going to quickly move past that. Sorry. Okay, let's rewind approximately a minute. Say exactly what you're saying again.
Yeah. So Hamilton comes into the season weak. If you want to beat him, you need to start strong. So, best example is 2020, first race. You got that, 5-second penalty that meant he lost the podium and handed, third place to Lando Norris kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's missing yellow flags and stuff like that.
And so this messes with him emotionally, which affects his...
No, it's just he's not on peak performance, because I don't... other drivers like Bottas will be doing rallying and stuff during the winter, whereas I think Hamilton will take his mind off F1 during the off-season. There's less sort of
which is probably a healthy thing, to be honest. I mean,
because he still won the championship in the end, but he's got to come in strong. And,
I mean, he's probably busy designing police sunglasses and Tommy Hilfiger clothes,
something like that.
All stuff that increases your race pace, of course. Naturally. Liam, can I give the call out? The Formula One talk is over.
Yeah.
I don't know why I leant forward to say that, but the microphone's on my head. Listeners, Formula One section's over. You may stop skipping.
Boom.
So, Liam, do you have a topic, or would you like me to surprise you with something yet again?
Oh, wow, because you haven't already told me that you've got a surprise mystery topic for me. I have no idea what it is.
I think this has become a theme, though, and I kind of like it. I just put you on the spot, and we see where we end up.
Yeah, that's good.
Last week was like, Liam, tell me a time when you had to learn something because... for lack of a better word, you fucked up. Okay, anyway, space.
The final
Liam,
frontier.
The final frontier.
These are the voyages. No, okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, these are the voyage of the USS Enterprise. Yeah. Of course, Star Trek.
Every Star Trek.
Well, which is the one with Jean-Luc Picard?
Next Generation.
I'm on season 4 of that, and I still couldn't remember the title of it. It's so bad. But anyway, yeah. So obviously, space is a hot topic, right? With not Tesla, Elon Musk, SpaceX. We've got self-landing rockets. I'm seeing things
Virgin
about hotels
Galactic.
in space. There we go. We're on the same page here.
Boom.
But what I wanted to talk about was a series called For All Mankind.
Okay.
Have you come across this?
No.
Then this is perfect. So Liam, it's an Apple TV series, and basically,
are you sponsored by Apple? You mentioned
not yet. But Apple, if you are listening, we are open to a sponsorship, kind of partnership to plug your show some more.
Absolutely.
Right, and then I can get a new Jeep. I like it. Just honestly, I think that defines who I am. I measure my life in Jeeps. I was like, ooh, if I didn't buy a sandwich today, that's 0.02% of a Jeep I've just saved up for. Yeah, but I work in weird ways, so that's that. Anyway, so For All Mankind. So basically, this series is set off the premise is as if the space race never ended, right?
Okay.
And I think that's a pretty cool concept, and I never would have come across this unless Wanda, my housemate, everyone recommended it to me. I think he's binged both seasons of it in space of 2 days. But basically, so I'm going to start the first episode because I don't think it's a spoiler, and that's all I've watched. But basically, the Russians got to the moon first. They got there 2 weeks before the United States did, which is, of course, oh crap, it's a red moon now. They got there first. And it's basically at least from what I understand, they go through the troubles of we've been put to shame. We now need to rush our mission to the moon. Long story short is they get Buzz and Neil Armstrong there, but they crash land and basically just make it out alive. And then afterwards, I think the Russians then send the first female to space, and there was talk of a military base on the moon, because of course the Cold War seems to be perpetuated by this whole
let's move the Cold War to the moon because that makes sense.
Absolutely. Rather than just having a good conversation, sort it out between you a good bunch of blokes. Let's take
the
down
to the pub, have a drink, get over it,
and wait for all of this to blow over.
Yeah.
Right. But no, I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. I think that's a pretty cool concept because, I mean, space is something that not that we haven't. I mean, I am not the person who's knowledgeable about what the fuck is going on with space. I want to put that out there now. I'm very out of my depth here. But maybe as an engineer you understand more. But
it is an interesting concept because from like historically, so like the Russians beat America in every major step into space except for the moon. So like first manned,
of course, we got
flight into space, like orbit of the planet, dogs and cats and women,
monkeys.
Monkeys.
I feel like there was a
dogs,
monkey in space at one point.
Obviously, and like the whole big thing about Sputnik being like the first satellite is going around the planet, and you hear it pinging. What's this all about? Is it watching us? You know, super paranoid.
Yeah, but that's an interesting thing, actually. I was it sole purpose just to send a ping to be annoying? Because that's a great play.
Well, it was just like a demonstration you could get something up there and it could send a signal back. So it didn't, as far as we're aware, like it could come out in 20 years' time when they finally declassify it. I don't know, it was sending something else or looking for something, I don't know, or talking to aliens.
What's your roguest prediction of what this ping was doing?
I don't know. What could...
Maybe it was just set up to interfere with like domestic television signals. But
maybe. Yeah, it's just trying to mess with their communications. That's probably a good guess.
Yeah. I mean,
but yeah,
I don't know. Like, it was a funky looking thing.
If Russia gets to the moon first as well, I guess it's like it's the biggest national humiliation because after the moon, there's nothing else within easy reach. Like the difference in the distance between the moon and our nearest planet, which is Mars, is like huge.
Yeah,
like
indeed.
It's a whole complete several orders of magnitude more complicated. So like there's no way of winning. So I guess the competition continues on the moon.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't. I mean, like I said, I've got a lot more of this to watch, but I have almost no free time at the moment between crying, doing my degree, and crying some more.
Yeah. Breakdown after
mostly because of my degree. There's a lot of work to be done right now, kids. But anyway, right. So I forgot to say this. So they sent up a manned mission to almost land on the moon, but to practice the abort procedure. And I don't know if that's actually true in like history, but so basically they were out there like, crap, we could have landed on the moon and been there first, but instead this was a test mission with, minimal fuel.
Oh.
And that really pissed them off in the show, Liam. Really pissed them off. I don't know, especially because you kind of follow the guy who would have been the first guy on the moon, and then...
Yeah, that's probably the conceit, 'cause they wouldn't do that. Just the effort to get to the moon,
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a... Yeah, it is a word. Let's send you 99% of the way, but let's just say, fuck it, press the abort button at the end because we want to know what happens. Yeah. But, no, great series. Space is flipping cool. And if you want to go on a complete segue...
All right.
Have you ever seen a rocket be launched, Liam?
Not live. So I went to Florida when I was like 8 or something. And went to the Kennedy Space Station or Space Center.
That's a great fucking day, isn't it?
But I've got terrible memory, so I can't really remember any of it. So I was at the wrong age to see all this awesome engineering, like huge rockets and stuff.
So when you were there, actually, so of course I've done this exact same most touristy thing anyone does when we go to Florida, alongside Disneyland, Universal, and all the other crap.
Yeah,
go to Denny's. I don't know if you've been to a Denny's, but that's the one. Anyone who's listening who lives near a Denny's, please go for me and order a breakfast, please. I don't care if it's 4 a.m. I want you to order a breakfast for me, and some really shitty coffee. But yeah, well, that it's a topic for another time. What I like to eat. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know when you were there. So obviously, from what I remember, this place kind of starts with like a bit of a tour, blah blah blah, right? But then you're in this like room with like a big projector, everyone's standing up. And all of a sudden, it's showing you a space film, and then like the projector suddenly goes like transparent, and you can see like one of the actual shuttles. I can't remember the name of this specific one.
Dramatic.
Was that there when you visited?
Mate, I can't remember anything, honestly.
Oh, so either way.
If we talk about anything about in my past and the future, it'll be a lot of, I think, maybe, sort of like this. Kind of, it's real bad.
Yeah, well, let me outline this better. So, obviously, space shuttle, multi-purpose, reusable, landing craft, blah, 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 blah. You understand the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, but this thing, full size, its nose was parked like almost like 1 meter behind this massive projector screen. And obviously, it goes transparent, lifts up. And that was probably one of the most jaw-dropping experiences of my life. It was flipping cool. Alongside seeing all of this other crap and like, I think they have an SR-71 there. I'm not sure.
Ooh. Okay.
I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of Seattle. I'm not sure. I don't. I've been to a lot of museums. I love a good museum. But anyway, yeah. So we were in Florida, right? And this. I think this is where my obsession with space started.
Yeah.
Not that anyone cares. Probably not you, but I care. So basically, right, we got news that SpaceX was launching a Falcon 9. I think they were just sending a satellite up or something like that.
All right. Okay.
And we happened to be in that part of the world at that time. And I was like, holy shit, a space rocket. And I guess it's not as probably impressive as like the Apollo missions were when you got that big orange like central rocket and 2 white boosters. No, it's not Apollo.
And it's all been done before. Space is easy, right?
Space is easy. But you know what? So then basically we get to, is it Cape Canaveral?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And there's like, I thought, okay, this is a pretty rogue point in my life and I don't give a fuck about much. But I was basically like, this guy had a deck and it would have been a prime viewing place to watch his rocket. So I basically just knock on these houses trying to find this guy's deck. And this was actually a very cool meeting, and I'm probably going to ramble a lot here, so if I'm rambling too much, tell me. But basically, so I knock on this guy's door, and I go, "Is that your deck?" And it goes right out onto like this, plane of water, whatever.
Yeah, and you've got a British accent, which helps in America. Like they think you're really educated. And smart. Yeah, it's all good.
I really sold myself. Thank you for saying that. But I don't know. I had a cap on. It had NASA on it. You know the deal.
Yeah.
I think I had a shirt on that said NASA as well. Those were the days.
Nice.
Before that stuff became mainstream. But we'll glance over
you
that
made
anyway.
it mainstream, right?
Everybody
else is copying you.
I must have. But I knock on and I go, "Hi, there's a space launch today," and he goes, "Oh, is there?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." There's just a rocket going off a couple of miles from your house, but that's fine. But long story short, I was like, "Can we sit on the end of your deck and watch it?" It's like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Okay, cool." But then this guy comes out, we get talking to him. This man has been like living here for upwards of like 40 years, and he's seen almost like every rocket it's launched in that period. I just didn't care, and which I thought was pretty crazy because it's a spectacular thing. But I'm sure everyone loses appreciation over time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's all about the value is in the rarity, and
Liam, I fucking love that. Say that again.
Value is in the rarity. This is like GCSE business studies, supply and demand, with slightly fancier words.
Yeah. So this man's supply of rocket launches has been quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Belongs to, actually. I said the Apollo. What was the name of all the missions that had the shuttle attached to the side of them? What was the name of that whole era?
Shuttle.
The reusable space shuttle. Though.
Just call them space shuttles? I don't know.
Okay, we'll just call them the space shuttle missions, and we'll correct ourselves next week.
Yeah. Or you could Google it and be like, you could just type this in 30 seconds, you idiots. That's okay.
Liam, do you want to stall for 30 seconds while I look it up?
Yeah.
No. Okay, yeah. I'll do it. Rather than make an absolute idiot of myself. Should I just Google space shuttle missions?
Yeah. This is great content. I love this. You should have the...
They seem to just be called STS. Maybe... Oh, STS. The Space Shuttle Program?
Sure.
I don't know. Who cares? Who cares? Honestly,
rockets.
I'm not here to know stuff. But long story short, this guy's basically saying he's sat and watched every rocket launch since then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to close this off because I'm rambling on because this is just a really cool thing. From my perspective. Sure. But basically, right. So this rocket's a couple miles away, and then it was really weird because you see a massive ball of light in the bottom of this rocket.
Yeah. And,
I'm waiting and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And things moving, but I've still not heard it.
Yeah.
Right. And, I shit you not, maybe a minute later, my organs got fucking blended. It was the coolest experience of my entire life. It was like, it's like the firework thing, see the light, you hear the sound. But this was this times that by 1,000,000, then put it on fucking cocaine or something, It was unreal, Liam.
And this is this guy's house, just like, oh, there's a rocket launch today.
And this man would probably just be at his breakfast and be like, "Oh, this pesky SpaceX is at it again."
Just checking the date on his milk, pouring his coffee,
exactly. I know. Honestly, I just couldn't understand why this man didn't care because that was honestly one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. But that's very cool. I'm very happy you've been to Cape Canaveral as well because at least you understand what I'm getting at. Is space
I should go back again.
Cool. Liam, we should go back again and film a podcast live from the fucking Kennedy Space Center.
Ooh.
Toys, mate, I'll sacrifice this podcast and set it up as a dedicated space one. Just for that. Hi, hello listeners. We're broadcasting to you live from the top of a Falcon 9 rocket.
It's Out of Our Planet podcast. We're renaming it.
I love that. Yeah,
Dude,
there's a lot of
rebrand, it's over.
diversification. That
Out of
we
our
can do
depth is
here.
dead.
Out of our depth is dead. Oh, Liam. Okay. Here's a random segue. So I was walking home from Tesco one day, and we're talking about stuff we want to do in our third term of uni because we basically finished our degree in like 10 days.
Yeah.
And one of the was like, yeah, man, like I'm gonna like learn to do Excel, some more SPSS, really increase my
employability.
Yeah, but I can't remember. I might have to go get him. I can't remember what he said. It was something like my digital literacy.
Oh,
what a term, digital literacy.
Oh, that's gonna be like I can see that's like a buzzword on somebody's CV, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm proficient in digital literacy.
And like employment managers are just like, oh my god, not again. What does that even mean?
Yeah, to be fair, no one knows what it means. But this was like a value of, was it rarities in the value? Values in the rarity?
Yeah.
Well, which one is it? I said two things there.
I mean, I guess bit of both. It's rare things are valuable and valuable things are rare.
Liam, I'm halfway through a cup of coffee and I've not had breakfast yet, so I'm pinging off the walls a little bit here.
Yes, so value is in the rarity. We'll stick with that.
Yeah, I love
Trademark
that. So, Liam, I've talked enough. Spring a topic on me.
Oh dear. Oh lord. Okay. Well, I was thinking about jobs this week, I guess.
Ooh.
That's the only topic idea I've got, but... So, yeah.
Well,
so it just seems
how
like...
about I start us off?
Oh, concept. Go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got offered a graduate job and I turned it down because it didn't sound right. So there you go. That's my input. Back to you.
That's news. Oh, I know the job and I know you're thinking about it. That's interesting.
Well,
okay.
Liam, I turned it down. I didn't. Good or bad, I've made the bet. Got to lay in it. Not for me.
And I think, like, we've talked about it a lot because I hope nobody from work's listening.
Wait, hold on. Claim it. If anyone here works at Liam's company, now's the time to switch off or skip forwards 5 minutes. Thank you. Bye.
I love my company. And leave. Okay.
Yeah, okay, we're clear.
So I'm not necessarily in the job that I love the most, surprisingly enough.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my advice to Matt has been maybe slightly different from a lot of people, I guess. So I guess where I've got to is because I've done what I'm good at and not necessarily what I enjoy. So like, I think it's maybe like a thought process that not everybody has.
Okay.
They're just looking for what they're good at.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question then?
Go for it.
Would you rather, I suppose this is like a hindsight thing, obviously.
Yeah.
So would you rather have waited for the job that you thought was like perfect and be unemployed for like maybe a year after uni? Or are you happy that you chose what came along? In terms of like, help me out here by answering that.
Yeah. So you shouldn't try and undo things that already happened in your life because like everything comes from every decision that an experience that you've had. So like everything good that's happened in your life since a bad thing probably wouldn't have happened unless the bad thing happened.
And of course, these are learning experiences.
Yeah. But when I applied to my job, I thought I was going to sit out a gap year, and I was okay with that because I wasn't getting many job offers, I guess. It was a bit of a struggle, as it always is at the end of university.
It wasn't quite like that Harry Potter scene where there's no post on Sundays.
Yeah, sure, whatever that means.
What, you know the one where the letters are coming through like the chimney, the door, they're coming up the toilet, you know?
Okay, like he's off at Hogwarts. Okay, I got you. Yeah, it was not that.
So perhaps I could have been clearer.
No, it's all good. I've got the mental image now. Maybe people were ahead of me and I've just been a bit slow.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think so. I thought this was going to be a good job, and I think you've got to learn that. So you've got to have that experience to realize it wasn't the best opportunity sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, now we're applying to Formula One teams to be wind tunnel technicians and trackside engineers.
Well, yeah. So I've applied to a fair few jobs, and it's been lots of weird different things, but it's not been a lot of job applications in the grand scheme of things. So it's been like, I'm only going to apply for stuff that I'm actually interested in.
They're also very tedious to do.
Yes, which is the main thing. So like, there's no point in putting yourself through a lot of stress and work just to apply for something where like, not really interested in this.
Yeah.
But the wind tunnel technician, so I got to interview stage at Red Bull technologies somehow for one of their wind tunnel technicians before they realised that maybe I wasn't quite competent enough for that. But it's
I mean, kind of fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Day 2 on the job, they still don't know that I don't know what a wind tunnel is.
But it was they did ask some questions. I was just like, I honestly, I don't know. I can't answer that. And just have like, I'll read textbooks or something before I get to the job. It didn't go well.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. I mean, they're there to put you through hell. I mean, they probably have so many applications, so it's pretty sick that you got an interview anyway.
Yeah, I just applied on like a whim, like they're never gonna get back to me. Because
it's probably like a feel good thing. I mean, okay, I've done something proactive here. I've sent out an application and see what happens. Yeah,
or there's peaks and valleys and all of that. Because like, I gotta get in the right mindset to do it, and then it's
I understand.
It's all over the place.
To be honest, mate, if we got you a nuke on Modern Warfare 2, slap that on your CV first line.
But they wouldn't believe
we'll put like
anymore.
a little disclaimer said non-boosted, not.
Yeah, I didn't get my friend on the other team like tactical insertion down just up to 25.
How fun is it going back and playing old games though? Just as a bit of a rogue segue.
I mean, it's weird.
Nostalgic.
Yeah, because like if you're just playing like the Call of Duties in the series as we've done, like they just get progressively better, and you don't really notice like over time how different they become.
Well, speaking of peaks and troughs, like you said with job applications, I think the Call of Duty franchise has peaked and troughed a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think I missed some of the worst games because I stopped gaming in about 2012, 2013, and then jumped back on a couple of years ago. So I think I missed out some of the real dodgy games where you're like crawling on walls and stuff.
Oh, they got kind of weird, like you've got a bit too dynamic. Like I want boots on the ground, simple objectives. I don't want a jetpack. I don't want to, I can barely handle parachuting on the current Call of Duty, to be honest.
It's just like, oh my god, who shot you? How do you go down? Like, nah, it's a gravity related issue.
Yeah, exactly. But Liam, I actually didn't know where I was going with this. I just wanted to bring up Modern Warfare 2 and perhaps improving your CV with a good old kill streak.
Yeah. Well, like a diverse CV is definitely good for job applications, but I'm not sure putting got a nuke on Modern Warfare 2 is going to get you in many places.
I mean, to be fair, the purpose of a CV is to get you an interview. The rest is up to you. So I reckon it might make you stand out. In
a good way?
Probably not. But I did see something interesting, actually. So for people here, I grew up in Warrington. An old friend of mine I used to bike with. He reposted a Guardian article. His brother or something, like, so if someone came out of a book, someone who's a big deal, but this guy didn't have a Wikipedia page. So this guy just, I think out of fun in his class, made a Wikipedia page and emailed it to him. And this guy got offered a job just for making like a Wikipedia page for this, very important businessman.
Okay.
How rogue is that? So, I mean, you can't say that putting I got a new Modern Warfare 2 on your CV won't work for the right person.
That is a good point, but also, like, I feel if you do something rogue and weird the first time, like, if you're the person who did it the first time, you'll get
of course.
work. After that, it'd be like, I've seen this before, this is a bit weird, go away.
Yeah, stop writing Wikipedia pages about me. Yeah, but I thought that was very cool. I don't know, there's opportunities come out of nowhere, right? So, I mean, back to applying to jobs, I think applying to things on a whim or if you're feeling good about it one afternoon is not a bad thing.
No.
As long as you recognise that each application takes plus like an hour and a half.
Drains you.
Yeah, which is really rogue actually, because I mean, I turned down this job, but I did put hours and hours and hours of work into it, despite me knowing in my head it wasn't the job for me. But it was just the only one I'd applied to because I was bored.
I guess it's like, because you can apply online to everything now, it just means like the supply of job applications for companies is so high, they've got to make it hard.
Yeah.
Because there'll be so many stages where they're just like wiping off half the people who applied for like the smallest reasons because they've got to get it down to a reasonable number. Of course.
But I mean, if it says something here, Liam, I presented the wrong thing. Yeah, so I had to make 2 presentations for these guys, which I thought was very unreasonable given the time frame they'd given me in my university workload. But I did it anyway. And I answered the question entirely wrong, and I still got to the next interview and still got offered the job. I'm not sure their pool of applicants would have been that good if I got through saying long story. Okay,
Yeah.
I've got to stop rambling. But I gave the presentation, and then she asked me to define the term in the question. I was like, oh no. Yeah. So you actually put it accurate. It's a buyer's market. Is that what you said about it? Like they'll make you do anything.
Yeah. I mean, like, but still, on the assessment day for the job I've got at the moment, it was mostly good people. But you look around and be like, I know what I had to do to get to here. How have you managed to get here as well? You know.
What do you mean? Did you give them one look up and down and go like, "You're stupid"?
It wasn't one up and down, but like when you're doing group bits of bobs and you see how they're working in the same environment as you. Like I think to some extent people don't always thrive in those environments. I'm usually one of those people, but
yeah, I know. But you switch it on, you know. You put on the Liam charisma.
Yeah, they're saying actively stupid things. And there's one guy who's talking about how much he. So I don't work for Jaguar Land Rover. I work for an insurance company. But this one guy was talking about how much he loved them and how he'd applied to them and like it'd be great to work for them one day in the middle of this assessment day.
That's absolutely what you don't say, right?
Yeah, I just like I've had to work really hard to get here.
Maybe his mom dropped him off and said, "Just talk about what you like, honey. They'll love you, I promise."
You'll be amazing, sweetie.
Yeah, exactly. Liam, okay, anyone who's still listening, I apologise that we started talking about jobs. I really am.
I mean, it's a big part of your life, though.
Fuck, it is, eh? It is.
Yeah.
Unless you're my dad and now you just look after the dogs full time.
Oh.
Shout out to my mum and dad because they know they listen to this.
Yeah. So do mine. I think that our parents might be 50% of the audience, but...
Liam, I saw that someone was listening in India. If you're this person listening in India, can you please DM us at Out of Our Depth Podcast on Instagram? Please.
The man
absolutely want to meet you. I want you here as a guest, whoever you are.
Yeah, just the rogue locations that are turning up because we can we know somebody who lives here. We've got family there. It's just like okay, this makes sense. And then India.
Yeah. Well, it's also nice to see that. I think I'm hoping it's the people I used to ski with are listening in Australia.
Okay,
so that's always a good thing.
That explains that thing.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I think actually a lot of this was inspired, and we'll do a little plug here. But it's called it's a podcast called Move Freely, and it's done by a friend of mine called Harry, and I can't remember the girl's name, but she's very good at articulating herself and talking, unlike us. But go give that a listen, guys, because it absolutely slaps.
Yeah, it was recommended reading for me when we were setting this up, so I gave the first couple episodes a listen. It's nice, chill stuff, and they're a bit more organised and professional than this.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm pretty sure they're sponsored as well, which is sick.
Yeah.
But no, they talk about some great things. I could probably load it up to round off this podcast. But I know, I just think they address a lot of cool topics. I mean, I'm going to honest with you, they're not touching on space. I'm telling you that now.
No. Space is purely our domain, apparently.
Yeah, I wonder if I can find some sort of bio. Oh, okay. Your hosts, Harry and Sophie, are here to have a discussion about how you can make space. Oh my god, they have the word space in there.
Oh dear.
How you can make space in your life. How you can make space in your life to go after what you want. They unpack what it means to move freely through conversations with each other and their guests about mindset, travel, and career. By listening to this podcast, you will start to notice opportunities around you that you may otherwise have missed. There we go. Oh yeah, okay. Let's plug their sponsor as well. No.
No. We're not being paid.
But yeah, the point is, go give it a listen, guys, because it's good. That's my recommendation for this week, alongside London Thunder and Give It All by Falls.
Good choices.
Anything else you want to round off with, Liam? Give the users an amazing song. But not.
I don't want to. It's a sad week. So I was on a 3-month Spotify Premium trial, and it came to an end yesterday. So I don't want to talk about music.
Liam, you've realised you have a job, right?
Yeah, I don't like paying for things.
I wish I had that attitude. So is your recommendation to users just don't pay for things?
Yeah, if you look after the pennies, the pounds look after themselves.
That's amazing.
And
anyway,
that's
guys,
how you buy yourself a new car.
Liam. Oh my god. Liam, plug the social medias right now.
So it's at Out of Our Depth Podcast on Instagram and at Out of Our Depth 1 on Twitter. Give us a follow, engage with us, and we'll put some random stuff up and hopefully make you laugh.
No, Liam, you're very good at that. Not that these users care, but Liam is basically head of social media, head of financials, head of everything except for all I do is sit here and look good.
Head of content.
I'm
head of ideation.
Are you flirting with me?
A little bit.
Liam, not live. After. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's also Sunday. I don't like to be flirted with on Sundays. But thank you very much for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
I hope you've enjoyed our rambling. Oh my god.
Until next time. Bye.
Until next time.